Welcome to the Champ Show. I'm your host, Isaiah Davis. I'm here with head coach at Prince Avenue Christian High School, Greg. How are we doing today?
Doing great, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. We're not the best of researchers, but we tried. This is actually our first head coach we've had on the show, so big round of applause for Greg. Hopefully, many more to come. Like I just said, he's the coach at Prince Avenue Christian High School in, is it Bogart?
Yep, Bogart, we're a small community right outside of Athens.
Yeah, Bogart, Georgia. He has led Prince Avenue Christian High School to win 3 of the past 4 state championships. And he's actually a father to Kentucky quarterback Brock Vandagriff, and Anna Vandagriff. She's at Eastern Kentucky as a volleyball player, and then Audrey Vandagriff is an Alabama softball player. So we've got a pretty athletic family, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
So obviously, you're a coach. Tell us about how you kind of got into the coaching. Tell us about your kind of journey that you've got to get where you are now.
So back in high school, I had a coach that did a really good job just about pouring into the lives of his players, and I didn't have a dad in the home, so naturally I'm looking sort of for a father figure kind of person, and this guy had a really strong influence on me. And when I went to college, you got to decide what you're going to major in, and I just thought, if I could have a strong effect on another young man like myself, that would be something awesome, And so I decided I wanted to be a coach really because of my high school coach.
Wow. So that's what I see from a lot of people is like, instead of getting to like the level that they want to get to, they want to help somebody else get to the level. Like you were just saying, you had somebody as a mentor and you want to kind of be that mentor and almost keep it going. Like some people will go to like a drive through and say, I want to pay it forward, and they'll start like this whole pay it forward chain almost kind of thing going. So you got a lot of kids in athletics, D1 sports. What's it like watching your kids grow up and getting scholarships and playing their sport at the collegiate level?
Well, what I say is, as a father, most of us want to provide an opportunity for our kids, whether it's to give them the, company business someday, or we set them up for whatever situation that, is. And so myself, I'm a coach. So our family business is sports.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my gift to them was to learn how to play sports. And again, if we're going to do it, then we're going to try to do the best job we can. And so I just tried to mold them the right way and say the right things to them and get them to embrace the fact that we're helping you along your journey. This journey is yours. And if you're ever going to be good, you have to you have to embrace the fact that it's your journey, and the hard work you put in, you get out. And if you don't put in hard work, you don't get anything out,
Yeah.
So fortunately, our kids listened. And the neat little thing is, they all three play something different. So you never have to worry about them talking about who's the best football player or who's the best volleyball player. We don't have to have those arguments. So all that's been good. And right now we're sort of reaping the benefits of getting to go watch them play in college.
Yeah. And I know Brock he went to Georgia and then he transferred over to Kentucky, if that's what I'm hearing correctly. What are your thoughts on the transfer portal?
Well, I think the transfer portal is good and bad. I think it's good. Like in Brock's case, he graduated from Georgia, and so he had 2 years left to be a grad transfer. So he chose to, he upheld his end of the bargain by getting a degree from the university, and then he transferred for an opportunity. And I think when kids use the transfer portal to better themselves, as far as they go to a better school or a better opportunity to play, I think it's good. I think when a kid sort of holds their university hostage, like they're at XYZ University and they're a starter and they go into the portal just so that they can threaten this team to pay them more money. I don't think that's really why the portal was designed.
Yeah, like you were saying, going from a smaller school to like a bigger school and getting more recognition. Like we had one player that came on, Trey Llewellyn. He's going into the draft. He played at MTSU. I don't know if you're familiar where that is here in Murfreesboro, but he played at HBU, which is Houston Baptist, now HCU, I'm pretty sure. And he was like a freshman FCS player, all star, whatever it is, and he's needed more recognition, more love, and to go to like a bigger school like MTSU, I think that helps. And like you were saying, with the threatening more money, I feel like that has almost ruined the transfer portal a lot. But yeah, like you said, it's a love hate relationship going on there in the transfer portal for sure. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on like just from the high school perspective? You're obviously trying to get these kids recruited to like these big schools and stuff like that. How much of the transfer portal have you seen just like almost stop players from getting scholarships and getting spots on teams because of the transfer portal?
well, what's happened, in my opinion, is the high level kids still get recruited. It doesn't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid, the next kids down from mid major to, Division two, it's a thing where almost all those kids are dropping a level because, colleges are using the transfer portal. It's almost turned into like a farm system where,
Yeah.
a kid plays well at UT Chattanooga and, he transfers and wants to go to Kennesaw State, or a kid plays well at Kennesaw State and he wants to go to Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is the coach that developed them doesn't get to, reap the benefits of finding the kid, developing the kid, and then their team, wins because he's done all this hard work with his kid. So,
Yeah.
that those days are over. That's not coming back.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like some players, what I heard from some player, it might have been Coach Nick Saban, I don't know, but there's not almost like a brotherly love almost on the football teams because a lot of players are leaving after 2 to 3 years once they're developed, and they're going over to these other schools and having to learn like a almost a whole new family again. And like you were saying, they're not reaping the benefits of molding that player into what they are now. What are some of your favorite players you have coached over the years?
We had a kid named Henry Anderson that he played 8 or 10 years in the league, and he started for a few years and played for the Patriots, played for the Colts. 6'7", played at Stanford. Super smart kid. Probably think he's an attorney now here in Atlanta, and just had a great motor, played hard. We had another kid named Juwan Thompson that played running back for us. That went on to Duke and played in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. He did a great job. We had another kid named Andrew Adams that he only had one college offer, and the college offer was at UConn. So he goes to UConn, and he becomes a free agent, pick up in the NFL, and he plays 7 or 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And I think he played 1 year in the Super Bowl. And then we had Evander Holyfield's son, Elijah Holyfield, that was a good running back at Georgia, and he did a great job. And so, we've been very fortunate to have quite a few good players come through. And one, quarterback at Kentucky, my son, and we have a kid that's going to is the backup quarterback at Georgia Tech right now, Aaron Philo. And both Brock and Aaron were the high school player of the year for the state, for the Atlanta Touchdown Club, and it's the only time they've ever had, the winner be from the same high school. Like me, we're the only high school to have 2 winners.
Oh, wow.
In the history of the Atlanta Touchdown Club, that's about 100 years old.
How much of a difference do you think it is college and high school football wise at the coaching position? What differences do you think responsibilities wise do you think are at the high school and college football coaching level?
Well, is about the players or coaches?
Coaches.
Well, it's just more complex, and there's more things going on at the collegiate level than going on at the high school level. They have 115 on the roster at the big schools, and for a lot of them, we may only have 50, 60, 70 according to what school we're at. And it's just like anything. It's like owning a business where you own a gas station is not the same thing as running a Walmart. It's just,
Yeah.
There's more things going on and more responsibility. It's not that you can't do it. It's just you haven't done it yet. And sometimes you just sort of grow into the position.
I heard that, I could be wrong, from one of the podcasts he came on. What was it again? I forgot. It was like the
Nelly's podcast?
I think
Nelly's,
so.
are you talking about Keith Grabowski?
I think it was Nelly's. I think it was Nelly's podcast. You were talking about, I think you coached at Tennessee Tech, if I'm correct.
Yes, I was a grad assistant at Tennessee Tech under Mike Smith, who was the D-line coach. And Mike's claim to fame is he went on to be the coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then he became the head football coach at the Atlanta Falcons. And, I was fortunate enough to be on the staff with him. And the guy that was over our staff was a guy named Mike Hennigan, and he played in the NFL, and he played at Tennessee Tech. And then the guy that I reported to directly was a guy named Billy Drake. And Billy Drake was a tough son of a gun that had played ball at Colorado. And, but I learned a lot of good football from all three of those guys.
So you've obviously won a lot of state championships over at Prince Avenue. What's it like winning the state championship so many times and almost having this pressure to do it every year?
Well, really, the pressure was in the first one. You just, I think you just want to get to that state championship title game. And I think we had been to 7 or 8 semifinals and had never been to the championship. And you just want to prove you're worthy of doing it, even though that doesn't mean you can't coach if you don't get there, because it's super hard to get there. And just winning that first one really honestly makes it easier to win the other ones, because you sort of know how to prepare and you know how to get ready, and all those kind of things take care of themselves, and it just helps you be more relaxed every time after the first time.
Yeah, with here over at Oakland, which is like the school just a few minutes away, I don't know if you're familiar with them at all, but the Patriots, I mean, they've won, I don't even know how many state championships. We've been pretty dominant, and I catch myself like every start of the year, they play the state championship at Chattanooga, and it's just almost come culture-wise to just, oh yeah, we're going to be heading to the state championship here later the year. Do you guys all want to go whenever? So it's almost feels like pressure on them as well. And like you were saying, you know how to prepare more. Even the more times you go as well, just helps out a lot.
That is correct.
So, like we were speaking about college, have you ever considered making the jump now that your kids are out of high school, maybe to college coaching or like UFL?
Well, the biggest thing, you need to understand, that's what people don't understand, is so we've now been fortunate enough, Kelly and myself, my wife, worked really hard to help our kids to get to, Brock in his third year of college, and then Audrey or Anna, her second year, and Audrey's about to start. And, the spoils of all that hard work is you want to go watch them play, and if I were to go coach at the college or the NFL level, they're not going to allow me to do that.
Yeah.
And so I don't care what kind of money you offer me, to have worked this hard to help them reach their goals. Why would I not enjoy the spoils at the end of the road?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thought process that I hadn't really thought about. I don't think a lot of people realize. And you coming from the coaching perspective and not only having your kids go into these big college programs, if you didn't have these kids go into the colleges and you weren't going to see them play, do you think you would make that jump?
Well, I would consider it, and again, you got to consider the options of what's your time worth and what are you missing and how much you're missing at home. And so again, for myself, not only was being a coach important, but being a father was even more important, which means, you're around your kids as they grow up and develop, and you help them, feel safe around you, and you provide that comfort of, the father's, love. And, so those kind of things honestly outweighed that $1 million contract or that $500,000 contract. None of that mattered to me. Being a father mattered way more than any dollars they could shape my way.
So at Prince Avenue Christian High School, in the near future, what should we expect from them in terms of like facilities, ranking? what should we expect from them coming up these next few years?
Well, we have 8 starters back on defense. We have 7 starters back on offense. And this is on a team that's won back-to-back state championships, so we think we're going to be okay. We got to find a quarterback, which obviously we're a quarterback-based offense, so we have a couple kids that are, vying for that position. One being Mike Bobo, the offense coordinator for Georgia, his son, and the other being a young man named Ben Musser. And so we got to find a quarterback, and then so we think we're going to be okay. We think we'll probably be ranked in the top 5 in our classification. We guess. We really have no idea as we're moving up a classification. But, it's a thing where, honestly, you just play it 1 week at a time, and all the games are hard enough that you don't need to worry about week 2 until you get past week 1. So we always just take it 1 week at a time, and we'll let next week worry about itself.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting into some of the, I guess, fun rapid-fire questions. We don't have any Instagram questions except for some fun feedback from people excited to have you on the show. If you guys want to go check out the Champ Podcast Instagram, it's the Champ Pod. Make sure to go check it out. You guys can figure out who's coming on in the future, like Greg Vandagriff, have all these other players that are coming on. Make sure to go check it out. The Champ Pod on Instagram. It's also in the description of this episode. Here we go. Favorite NFL team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers.
Yep.
How did we become a Steelers fan?
So I believe there's like 3 theories to how you become a fan. Okay, you ready?
All right, let's hear it.
All right, number 1 is like where you grew up. So if you grew up in Nashville, you might be a Titans fan. If you grew up in, Green Bay, you're a Packers fan. So 1, where you live. Number 2, somebody in your family is a fan of that team, and you're a fan of whoever that is. So like your dad's a 49ers fan, so you're a 49ers fan.
That is quite the opposite. We are Cowboys fans.
Again, your dad's a Cowboys, you're a Cowboy. Okay, mm-hmm. So, or the third way is the way I did it, which the third way is, let's say you don't maybe live near a town or an NFL team, and so when you first start watching the NFL, whoever's good, you naturally want to be with a winner. So 75, 76 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're either a Steeler, a Cowboy, or a Raider if you grew up in that era. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a Steeler.
So you're a Steeler fan. I like the analogy coming in the three ways you become a fan. My dad, so he grew up in a family of 6 boys. Say, I don't know how my grandmother's still alive. Okay, and his brother Matthew, hopefully you're listening to this. He's a diehard Cowboys fan. Okay, well, he's probably about to die from all this that we've gone through the past 20 plus years of not going to the Super Bowl. So, but my dad just watched him watching the Cowboys and that brotherly love of, I'm going to support this team. So yeah, I totally understand. And then we have other uncles who are Titans fans just because we got a team from Tennessee. So yeah. So I know you're probably not much of a gamer. Are you a gamer at all? You like to game ever?
Not in a while. But go ahead.
Do you have a certain preference on the console, Xbox or PlayStation?
I like Xbox.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I love it. We've had the past few people do PlayStation, so finally we got one on our side. I know you're probably familiar with the new NCAA game coming out. How have any of your players talked about that, or have you heard anything from players just excited for the game coming out?
Well, I mean, they talk about it a little bit. We're anxious to see when it happens. I mean, my son talked about it a little bit, and did an advertisement for EA.
Oh wow!
2025. So it's out there somewhere on Instagram.
Okay, it was the thing where they said I'm in the game or whatever.
Yep. He was one of the kids that got selected to do that.
Oh, awesome! Favorite college football team?
Well, right now it's the Kentucky Wildcats. What about that?
Oh yeah, you've gone through a few SEC teams. What it sounds like, go from Georgia to
Let me give you a little background. I grew up in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
I married Auburn. We live in Georgia and Athens. Okay, so and my son's at Kentucky, and my other daughter's at Alabama. So I can like anybody at any time.
See, you're SEC through and through. So it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
So, favorite stadium you have ever coached in? This can be the college level. This can be the high school level. This can be anywhere.
Okay, we just coached in the Georgia Dome.
Oh wow!
Last year it was pretty neat to be in the Georgia Dome.
Was that for the state championship?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. We've heard some rumors about like the state championship in Tennessee being played at like the new stadium coming in for the Titans. So that's going to be pretty
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That'll be super awesome if we get to go to that. So I'm guessing you probably don't have any pregame music you like to listen to. I know probably your players like to listen to pregame music.
I got a few songs. I mean, what do you want to know?
What type of music do you like to listen to before games?
I like to hear. Okay, Boston's got a few songs I like to hear. It's mostly '80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear '80s. So I like some of the hair bands, AC/DC. Just a lot of mostly '80s stuff.
Yeah. So we got some old school music. Do you have a favorite song from them?
TNT or Thunderstruck.
Oh yeah, those are some good ones. Those are some good kickoff songs right there.
Oh yeah. See, AC/DC was before their time. I mean, they're sort of timeless right now.
Mm-hmm. You can play that whenever.
Yeah.
So I know you probably give your players some food before the game. I would hope. What do you like to eat before a game?
Usually just like some chicken, just again something sort of not bland, but something that's not going to upset your stomach. We go with chicken, something green, some kind of potato, and usually a salad, and then a cookie if they want it.
Mm-hmm. We have a big announcement. The Champ Podcast is now partners with Prime Detailing, a car cleaning business locally owned here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, by host Isaiah Davis' friend, Nathan Carlton. Looking to get your car clean? Look no further than Prime Detailing. They'll get your car looking brand spanking new. Text 615-801-6168 or DM Prime Detailing at PRIM_E-Detailing on Instagram. Once again, text 615-801-6168 or DM Prime Detailing at PRIM_E-Detailing on Instagram. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live?
Anywhere. Let's see. That's a great question. Give me just a minute to think about it.
If you need multiple answers, you can do that as well.
Okay, let's go with some multiple answers. Okay, I would probably spend the winter time in America down in Brazil.
Oh wow!
Because it's the opposite. I just got back from Brazil last week, so it's the opposite. It's the opposite season down there. So I would go down there like January, February, maybe March, and then come back towards the States around that time period. Maybe live down near the Gulf. Do a little fishing down there. There's a place called Swanee in Florida, and do a little inshore fishing there. And then probably during our summertime, probably live somewhere near the mountains, so it wouldn't be like 98. It'd just be 88.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably move around a little bit, have 2 or 3 spots I like.
So you sound like a little bird going around. Go this certain place at this time of the year. Go this certain place at this time of year.
I would definitely be, hibernating, or not hibernating, but what do they call it when they come to migrating?
Migrating. Yep. Most famous person in your contacts list. If you need to check, you can.
I don't know who you call famous. I mean, I got Kirby Smart and Josh Heupel in mind right now.
I would say that's pretty famous.
I mean, I could text them right now and they would answer me back probably.
Well, tell me one of them on the podcast.
Yeah, let's see. Let me think. Anybody sort of outside that circle, because most of the people I know are coaches. I mean, I could do Coach Stoops at Kentucky, and I got Lincoln Riley in my phone. I could text him or call him.
Wow.
We'll probably go with those 4. I could do. Oh my gosh, I'm going blank. I could do the head coach for Ole Miss, the head coach for Auburn. I mean, all those guys. Kiffin or what's going down at Auburn. So anyway,
That's incredible.
That's a few.
That's one of those perks of being a high school coach. You get all these coaches' numbers. I'm guessing, does that help with like recruiting players?
Well, that's how I get them, is because they come to recruit my players.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have a defensive tackle that's 6'5", 285. Christian Garrett's the number 9 D tackle in the country, so they all like him.
Mm-hmm. And they're all putting all their chips in for that guy.
Yeah, or I mean, this guy's not famous yet, but he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son's best friend, like Brock Bowers, right?
Oh yeah, Brock Bowers. I would say he's pretty famous. I would count that as famous. Yeah, there's talks about him like going to the Titans possibly, or he said he would want to.
But I would think he'd like that. So we're going to be in the background when he gets picked next week. So wave at us, okay?
Oh really? So you're gonna be in the background?
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right. Well, we want Brock Bowers on the podcast too. We'll take anybody.
I got you.
Yeah, okay. We'll definitely have to be watching the draft for sure. It'll be awesome if he goes to Titans too, and you see Greg Vandagriff in the background.
That's right.
And by the time this comes out, he'll be drafted. We'll see where he goes.
That'd be cool.
So I'm guessing Brock Vandagriff will be in the background as well.
If he can get out of school, he's coming. So
gotcha.
We'll see what happens. Yep.
So you'll be in Detroit. So you're gonna be traveling all over. You're going to Brazil.
No, we're gonna be at his house.
Okay, gotcha. So you're going watching at the house. Okay. Favorite food or like place, something like that. Favorite food or place.
Okay, there's a place in Phoenix called Maestro's.
That sounds very familiar.
It's really sort of off the chain, expensive and good. It's a really, really good place. It's also really, really expensive. But it's a good place to go. Maestro's. It's again, it's like it's a steak kind of house, steakhouse where the steaks are, everything's a la carte. The steaks are about $100 a piece, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice,
Yeah, I've probably heard my dad talk about Maestro's before. I was like, that sounds very familiar.
It's a good little place.
Do you have a favorite like food in general you like to eat?
It's always hard to beat a good steak, but I do like lasagna, spaghetti.
Oh yeah.
I grew up eating a lot of spaghetti with my mother, and then I like Chinese a lot. To be honest,
mm-hmm.
I love some good Chinese. I'm sure I'm not aware of what I'm eating, but we'll just go with it.
Yeah. As long as it tastes good, we're good to go.
It's all about the sauce, right? So.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to the people listening to the Champ podcast right now?
Just thank you for dialing it up and listening, and supporting you, and again all the stuff you're trying to get accomplished, and just hopefully we entertained you and educate you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you coming on. If you want to shout out your Instagram, shout out friends, stuff like that, you can shout it out all right now.
So Instagram's Coach Vandagriff on Instagram, and then Twitter is G Vandagriff. And then other than that, I don't exist. So do what you got to do.
Make sure to go follow him on socials to keep up with what he's doing. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Champ podcast. We the Champs. Peace.
Appreciate it.